Hello, everybody. We'll give everyone a couple of minutes. If you don't mind, I would love you to turn your cameras on if you're in a place and all that kind of stuff. I don't really care what you look like. It's all right. Because that's kind of part of professional development now is our ability to Zoom. Hi, how are you? Hi, Annika.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Hi, Julie. Hi, Mega. All right, well, we'll wait a couple more minutes, but we do have a small group this morning. I want to thank you guys all for joining on a Sunday morning. Pretty neat that you would do that. Hopefully you'll get all your questions answered and ask any questions you have and, um, become a little more familiar with professional development. I think I only, as of now, let's see if I've got anybody waiting in the chat. Nope. Okay. And we'll just give everybody another minute. All right, well, we'll get started and anyone who comes in can join us. So for those of you who have not met me yet in one of the other convocation meetings, my name's Rose McGinnis, and I'm the Director of Undergraduate Research and Professional Development within the College of Science and Technology. So myself and my colleague, Kelsey Craig, who is the College of Science and Technology career coach, we're here to help specifically students within CST on their professional development journey over the next 4 years. We also work in cooperation with the University Career Center. That's located in Mitten Hall. The University Career Center is also available for all students to use as well. So what does CST's professional development area do different than the Career Center? Well, all of our offerings are specific for CST students. So for instance, we don't worry about employers. Good morning, Tyler. We don't worry about employers that are looking for students whose degree is in finance or in history. We only focus on employers who are seeking to work with students in one of our majors within CST. So it's all very specific. So we understand what it's like to find an internship if you're a biology major versus a history major. So that's kind of what we do. But we work in collaboration with the University Career Center. So I have two students with me today who are not freshmen, Annika and Tyler. And I always like them to talk to you first because you'll get bored listening to folks like me. Talk to your peers. It's the best way to get advice. So Annika, I'm going to let you start. Tell the group of students that are here today a little bit about your experience with professional development, what you've done, any words of wisdom, all that kind of stuff.
Okay. Okay, I got you. It's quite a lot. Okay. Hi everyone. My name's Annika. I'm a student studying information science and technology. This year I'm going to be a junior, and this past summer I just finished an internship at TD Bank doing data science and analytics. And if you told me my freshman me that this would be me now, I would not have believed you, because at that point I had no idea what I wanted to do. And I thought I wanted to be like a chemistry major or something. I don't know what I was thinking. I never tried coding at that point. But I think something that really helped me realize that coding was my thing was, first of all, it was the undergrad research program. And I went to a symposium and I saw what all the other undergrads are doing. And then I thought, wow, the coding project is really cool. I should get into that. And then I went to some hackathons, and that's another way to learn work on a project and meet people from companies, and also work on talking to people, because at the beginning I was really bad at talking to adults. Another thing would be making a LinkedIn and making your resume as soon as possible, because when I had my first resume, it was really bad, but I continued to make iterations on that resume and eventually it wasn't so bad. So those are my initial tips. Make a LinkedIn and a resume and do some hackathons.
Great. Annika, thank you so much.
Hmm.
All the things I would say, but you said them so much better. All right, Tyler, a little bit about who you are and your recommendations for professional development to this great group of freshmen joining us this morning.
I was on mute. Yeah, absolutely. So, I'm Tyler. I'm a senior. That's wild. I'm a senior computer science major. Um, so this last summer, I had an internship doing data analytics with CSL Bearing. They're like a blood plasma biopharmaceutical company. It was a really interesting experience, and I was able to learn a lot. The way I got the internship was by talking to um, Kenya. She's like one of the recruiters for CSL in the lobby of CST. So when we're not virtual, you'll see that like there's always companies in the lobby of the CST building. Um, like that's where Barbara is right now. um, and yeah, just talk to them and like make connections. And like the way the communication started was like she commented my Vans, and then like the conversation just went from there, and like we just like grew like a professional relationship, and we were able to just like I was able to get my internship through there. So then I think like beyond like the hackathons, the LinkedIn, the resume is like my go-to is like joining orgs. So that's where kind of like my expertise is, and like that's where I feel most comfortable gaining my leadership abilities, gaining my like extra strengths in like coding. So the two orgs I'm most involved with are Stars Computing Corps, where like an org that goes out and teaches local high schools and local students how to program, which is really awesome. It's a super great experience that not only like helps me develop leadership skills, but also like strengthens my coding skills, because when you teach something to someone, then naturally you're going to strengthen your own skills. And then ACM, which is our student professional organization that brings in companies to recruit computer science students. And as a freshman, I remember being like, yeah, like that's not for me. Like I'm not there yet. But like looking back on it, it's super, super helpful to get to know your recruiters that are always going to be at Temple. So that way you're able to like have those relationships moving forward. And even if you don't want to work for a specific company, maybe they have relationships with someone else and they're able to see your skills and just network, just network. So yeah, I think like overall those are my goals. And I think especially as freshmen coming in mostly virtually, it's super important to get as involved with as many orgs as possible, because like that's kind of your go-to for making friends now. Just because like that's the reality of it. And that's super important to like have a solid group of people in your classes and outside of classes.
Tyler, that's great. Again, all the things I would say. I always say to everyone that the word network to students is a dirty word because you're terrified of the concept of networking, and students are always afraid of employers, like, oh, I can't talk to them, I'm not ready. Guys, they're not scary at all. They want to talk to you. They want to find out about you. They want to meet you as freshmen because, as Tyler said, they meet you as freshmen. They remember. They write everything down and they keep track. And they, oh, I talked to you last year. So um, don't wait, right? Start just talking to people. And Annika, I know you said to me when we were chatting back and forth on email, I'm not really good at that. You're great at it. Have more confidence in all of your skills because they're a lot better than you think they are. So, all right, Rose, you joined us. Tell them a little bit about your professional development experiences and your words of wisdom to this group.
Hi, I'm Rose, and I'm a senior in information science and technology. And my words of wisdom is to not get discouraged because as a as an underclassman, if you're applying to a lot of internships and you're trying to get out there, you're going to career fairs, which I all recommend you do, you're going to get a lot of rejections. And that's just something that's normal and it's just going to happen. And we've all, Tyler, Annika, me, we've all had our fair share of rejection. And I think it's just something that you need to learn to be okay with because it's not something where they think you're a bad person or they think you're stupid or something. It's just a way of, weeding out who they need and who they don't. So what my biggest word of advice is to not get discouraged and continue applying. Even if it's they rejected you last year, apply the next year and continue that contact with the people that you spoke with during interviews or during recruitment. Always keep in touch with them because as Rose said, that these are still connections and these are ways that you can stay informed about their company, about their positions, about new opportunity, and they will reach out to you as well. Like they'll keep you in your mind. They have their little database, their notepad of things. So they're always going to reach out. So don't be afraid of getting rejected. And then even if you have the chance to ask them, I would definitely ask them, well, what did I do wrong? Or what were you looking for? What can I improve on? Because then you know which skill sets you need to work up and where you need more improvement and what skills that they are specifically looking for so that you can in the future when you want to apply again you have a better understanding of what they want. I
Ro-
also agree with Tyler with the orgs because I'm in the same orgs as him, so definitely join orgs because we're all super friendly and that's how you make friends.
Rose, thank you so much. So 3 things I want to focus on what Rose said, which are great. One, you don't have to be in the major to belong to the org, right? If the STARS thing sounded really cool to you and you're a chemistry major, that's okay. They'll take you, right? You can join ACM if you're a math major. So don't get so caught up on like this org is the only one for me. And and orgs don't have to be just in your department either. Like if you're really interested in student government, if you're really interested in leadership, find organizations or maybe your religion or your culture. Find any of those orgs and then find a place that feels comfortable to you, and as Rose and Tyler said, a place where you can make friends in this kind of crazy virtual world that we're in right now. I think that's going to be really, really important. And Rose, I don't like to call it rejection. I like to call it best fit, right? Not everybody fits everywhere. So you and the employers are doing a connection so that the employer finds the best fit for them and you find the best fit for you, right? Students will come in and see Kelsey and I all the time, and one student we may say, oh, you should apply here, here, and here. The next student comes in, we might say 4 different places because we've worked with these companies for so long, we can almost see where people will fit, right? I always used to say, are you a shorts and flip-flops kind of guy, or are you a business suit kind of person? Because those are different environments and different people fit better in different places. So I like to soften up the rejection to best fit. and and it works both ways for you as well as the employer. So Paul, how about some words of wisdom from you?
Um, hey, I'm Paul. I'm a fifth year computer science, and I also study music. And that kind of relates to what I would say, which is don't try to be what you think the kind of person you think that companies want. Really be, try to be yourself, whether it's at a career fair or an interview. And I have kind of 2 experiences from that. One is when I was at a career fair as a sophomore. Um, I didn't feel like I had skills or experience or anything that was uh, you know really worthwhile talking about or anything that was impressive. And but I remember one guy, I was talking to him and I brought up that I was doing music, and we started talking because he plays guitar, used to play guitar, something like that. And he ended up taking my resume, even though they weren't even looking for CS majors at the career fair. Like at the career fairs, they have like little stickers for like what majors they're looking for in CST. So he took my resume, even though his company wasn't there looking for computer science people, simply because we had this great conversation about music. And then also where I ended up interning that summer and the summer afterwards. When I went into the interview, they just first thing they asked me both on the phone and when I went there in person was just tell us about yourself. They weren't really interested in some kind of elevator pitch or something like that. And I just, tried my best. I told them like, oh, I do this, I do music. I also like, I used to swim, and do these things. And then, my dad was into computers, so that's how I got into computer stuff. And they, really liked that. So I would say don't worry about trying to be an actor playing a role. Just try to be as natural as you can. And I think that you'd be surprised at how often that will work in your favor, and it will also make all the experiences a lot less stressful. Like I think the career fair back in the spring, I think I finally was comfortable just being myself, talking about me, and not trying to impress people or trying to make more or trying to compensate for what I thought were deficiencies in my skills or experience. And I walked away from that career fair feeling great, feeling motivated, feeling like, oh yeah, I feel like, I made a great impression. I feel like, I don't know, just all that stuff. So that would be my thing is don't try and make yourself into this mold of what you think you have to be. Just try and be yourself when you talk with people at career fairs or interviews.
Wow, Paul, that's awesome. Thank you. I couldn't give better advice if they paid me to give better advice. Couple other things that folks mentioned that I want to reiterate on is skills, right? Paul mentioned it, Rose mentioned it. Skills don't mean that you have to be the world's best programmer, right? When you get into, or the world's best chemist, or the world's best mathematician, you might say, oh, my GPA is a 3.0, no one's going to hire me. That's not correct. Your skills are made up of both your hard skills, the things that you've been taught in school, that you work on yourself, that you took textbooks and lectures from, but there's also your soft skills, which are how you relate to people, how you solve problems, how you lead, how you work in a team. Organizations are just as looking for those skills just as much as they're looking for the hard skills that we're going to pound into you over the next 4 years. So remember, you're a combination of both. You're a combination of your experiences and your soft skills as well as your hard skills. And then following up on what Paul said, follow your passions, right? Our world is not just our job. It isn't, right? Our world is made up of lots of other pieces of us. And when students follow their passion, it makes you more interesting. So minor in something, double major in something. If you've always wanted to take a dance class, take a dance class, right? Who knows, right? If you've always wanted to draw, take a drawing class, and make sure that you're feeding not only your educational and your professional side when you graduate, but feed your passions as well, because in the long run, that comes to be just as important as whatever career you go into. Okay, so a couple other words of advice following off what the student said. So this is a different year for us all. All of the students mentioned our job fairs, which have been really amazing events. We've had usually and these are specific to the College of Science and Technology. Every year we've had about 80 employers attend. We have about 450 students attend. They're awesome. They're really good. Students, get internships from them. They get networking skills from them. They get full-time jobs for them. We can't do that this semester. It just isn't going to work. But that doesn't mean we're not going to help you find internships and jobs. This year, we'll be doing a 100% virtual job fair. It'll be cool. I don't know, we're going to give it a try, right? A new adventure for all of us. So what is a virtual job fair? Well, we're going to be using the platform that Temple uses for their professional development. So write this down, everybody. Handshake, Handshake. You, as students, now are allowed and available to use the Handshake platform, okay? You want to. Ask all these guys here, right? So highly, right, all my students, right? You want to use Handshake. What you have to do is you have to create a profile on Handshake, and you want to make that profile as robust as possible. It's kind of like Tyler was talking about your LinkedIn profile. You want your Handshake profile to be as solid as possible too. Eventually, you want to load your resume onto the Handshake platform. Now, I'm going to be honest with all of you. All of you now have what I call your high school resume. It's the resume you all used in your applications for applying for college. Some of you, it's 3, 4, 5 pages long. It includes everything that you could possibly add to help you get into the colleges that you were interested in. That resume doesn't work anymore. So the first thing you want to do is you want to start your college resume. And sadly, your college resume is not going to include most of your high school stuff. But the good news is that's your blank sheet of paper. Like Tyler and Rose was talking about, this is where you want to now go find opportunities, events, organizations, experiences within the next 4 years of college to build your resume. Not just write your resume, but to build it. You did the same thing in high school, right? You made sure that you had a lot of stuff that made you look good for admissions offices. Now you want to make sure that your resume includes things that are interesting as you go forward. Undergraduate research, right? Rose did that. Internships, work study, volunteer opportunities, student orgs, leadership, all of those things. You want to start to build that college resume. It's very, very important that you do that. Handshake will allow you to look for internships, look for jobs, see events that are coming. That's where you'll be able to register for the virtual job fair. Now, the way the job fair will work is that each employer who's attending will set up a time, a virtual time, and will set up the requirements that they're looking for to talk to students. Some of them may be in group sessions, and some may be individual 10-minute sessions that you can sign up for. The employers will specify what they're looking for, and then you'll go in and you'll be able to sign up. But the key is make sure your Handshake profile is updated and make sure that you've started your professional resume. We have lots of stuff on our CST website, which I'll show you at the end of this call, so you can start thinking about that. But the key is just think about building it, right? What can I do to add those kind of experiences and information for students? The key is going to be reading your emails. Every week you will get, or every other week, depending on how important it is, an email from us called the CST Opportunities email. Those emails are packed full of stuff we've gathered from everything. It'll include hackathons. It'll include, if you're pre-med, it'll include things from the pre-professional health office. It'll include employers who are coming to campus. Tyler mentioned talking to someone in the lobby. We're going to be creating virtual lobbies where students can drop in and meet. Yeah, see, Tyler, we didn't forget you. Where you can drop in, right? And believe me, my biggest fear is no one's going to drop in. So put that on your list. And if you're a freshman, it's okay to drop in. It's okay not to have your resume. It's okay not to know where you're going. Just drop in and talk to them, because CSL Bearing hires not only computer science majors, but they hire biologists, they hire chemists, they hire EE, environmental science, they hire mathematicians. So learn who they are and what they do. It's a good way to kind of get started. So you really want to make sure that you open up your CST opportunities emails, look at the summary in the top. If nothing interests you, close it, be done with it. But you don't want to miss it, right? Because, you know, if you miss the virtual job fair, you're going to have to wait a whole nother 6 months for the next one. So, and you want to practice. Paul mentioned this, right? First time you go, you have no idea what you're doing and you're scared to death. Second time you go, okay, this is a little better. Third time you go, you're like, I got this. So you want to work on these things as you're going through the process. You don't want to wait till April of your senior year and you're ready to graduate in May and look up and go, think I need a resume. Oh, I think I need to find a job, right? You will have missed all of these wonderful opportunities that the college will provide to you all through the process. So sign up, attend, student orgs, all that stuff's really great. Okay. Questions, put them in the chat. Be happy to answer them, and then I'll go show you our webpage. Anybody have any questions? So what majors do we have? I think someone was pre-med, maybe? Anybody pre-med? No? See, I remember these things.
There's always
Oh,
one.
there's always, we're used to it. We're used to it. We're glad you're here. Okay, guys, tell them how they get involved in student orgs. How did you find them? What did you do?
I guess I got you. So what, it depends on your major. So, I mean, it doesn't fully depend on your major, like we were talking about before. But usually, like CIS students, like gravitate towards CIS orgs. But the main way you do it is a website called Campus Groups or Owl Connect, where you can go on and let me see if Owl Connect is still.
Let me share your, you want me, how about if you share your screen, Tyler? Do you want to?
In 1 second, yeah. Once I get
Okay.
it up. So if you go onto this website called Campus Groups, it's a website run by Student Activities that contains all Temple student orgs. So you can like go on, make a profile, select your interests, and it'll like kind of relate you to like the student orgs that most fit what you want to do. For some reason, it's just not coming up for me, but I will get a link for you in 2 seconds.
Yeah, just put the link in the chat, Tyler. How's that sound for everybody? And for pre-med students or those who may be considering pre-med, there's an Office of Pre-Professional Health, PPHS. Absolutely, positively, hands down, want to make sure you're engaged with them. You'll have to go through a profile process. They'll put you on their email list, their listserv. They'll send you lots of information. There are many student orgs related to pre-med and pre-med students. Lots of them. Like there's not just one, there's probably 40 of them, quite frankly. Excuse me, if you go to the PPHS site, I think they actually list student orgs under there as well for pre-med students. Okay. All right, let's see. Any other questions? Let's see.
I wanted to add that I put the link to TUACMW, that's Association of Computing Machinery Women, and that was pretty much the org that got me into this major. So I think it's a really great organization. They help you with your resume and building soft skills. And I will say, because I'm in this org, that we would love to have you. Like, we would love to have freshmen. So please join.
Yes, and it's not big, so it's nice because you can feel really participant. You can really participate, and then as you join as freshmen, look for leadership roles. Right, freshman year you're not going to be a leader, but by your sophomore and junior year, look for leadership roles. Again, looks great on your resume. All right, so I'm going to share my screen and show you. Let's see. Here we go. So this is the CST website. If you look under academics, you'll see a tab called Student Professional Development. Okay, that's our webpage. And you'll see on here, what our goals are, where we're located. We've moved again. It'll show you all of our resources, which are now all virtual. Everything we do this semester is virtual. Please don't think we won't see you. We will see you. In fact, I saw Tyler and Patrick not too long ago. We'll see you virtually. We also have a resume drop. So if you just want us to take a look at your resume, highly recommend we do that. You'll see sample resume templates, so you can kind of get an idea of what we're talking about. You'll see a link for Handshake, scheduling appointments, checking out LinkedIn, right? And then these were employer shares that we did over the course of the end of last semester, and we'll post all kinds of things there. Career basics, some additional information. And then these are really good. These are new. These are what can I do with my major? We worked on these over the summer. A lot of students take a major because they like it, but they're not sure where it leads. So for instance, if you're a biology major, you don't have to be a doctor. You can work in a zoo, you can work in a museum, you can become a medical scribe, you can do quality assurance, you can do ecology, you can work in oceanography, you can work in biomedical science. So each of the majors, with the exception of computer science, has one of these sheets, which we put together this summer. I would highly recommend taking a look at some of those sheets if you're just not sure, or if you get halfway through and think, uh-oh, I'm not sure what we're going to do here. You'll also see events. So it'll list all of our events with some help on how to create a resume, how to get ready, all of those things. And then some additional resources, which is the handshake link that I talked about, and information about the University Career Center, which, as I said, is also here to help you out. So please feel free to check out all of our resources. Let's see, any other new questions? I think everybody's been sharing stuff with students. That's awesome. Anybody else have any last minute questions? Okay, great. Oh, I'm going to end on time. So unusual for me. I'm warning you. So we really appreciate you joining us this morning. Go tell all your friends, show them the link, and good luck. Enjoy your classes starting tomorrow, guys. And to my experienced students, thanks for giving up a half hour this morning. I do appreciate it. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Oh,
Bye-bye.
very cute, Tyler. Thanks.
It's helpful. Do it.
It really is.
Yeah, I have
For
more
real.
student friends than you can imagine, which is really nice. And the neat part is then they become alumni and professional friends.
There you
So,
go.
yep. So
Awesome.
connect with
Win-win.
me on LinkedIn.
True.
Connect with me on LinkedIn.